Well, actually, can you tell us a bit about your own experience?
I mean, I made my last alimony payment this month. It was.
You guys were married for 8 years?
Yeah.
Was
So
it?
in California,
it's half the time you were married.
Unless it goes to 10 years, and then it's indefinite. It's up to the judge.
After 10 years,
yep.
It's
if we
at
had
their
been
discretion.
married, if we had been married for 10 years, it would be an indefinite amount of alimony up to the judge, and that payment was assessed based on my earnings, of course, but also there were no like stipulations about her needing to work ever. Right, so like those payments are coming out, and like she just doesn't have to work, and she hasn't worked ever. So
and you paid alimony for 4 years.
Yeah,
4 years.
Yep.
Okay.
She didn't work the whole time.
No, not since we even got together. I met her. She got pregnant like 2 months later.
Oh yeah, well,
wow.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Like in the marriage, but like after, like, is there a reason why she didn't?
I wanted her to be
go
a good
work?
mom and just stay. You know,
Oh,
like
so
I
she's
mean, it's
being
not
a
like she
stay-at-home
asked me,
mom.
"Hey, should I go work?" She was like, "Hey, what do you think about me being a stay-at-home mom?" Like, I love it. You know,
Also, like, she left her job, and even though she has like potential to go back in the job market, that's for how many years that is like.
Yeah, look, you know, the only quarrel
Yeah.
I really have with what transpired there, like, I'm okay with the alimony, the child support, of course. I mean, even though we are 50-50, and I still, anyway, the hypocritical things that happen, especially in California, like if I had, let's say, bought her a gift, like a watch, and on that same day I bought myself that watch, or a different watch. When we divorce, she gets her watch and half of my watch. And that just doesn't make any sense to me, right, at all.
Community
like
property.
Yeah. Like if I got myself something, like she gets half of it. It's a weird thing. And so
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's odd. And I had that conversation. Like,
How old were you, and how old was she when you guys met?
I was 25 and she was 23.
Had she gotten like a bachelor's degree from college or
No,
anything?
no.
No college education?
No, just a trade.
What was she like when you met her? Was she working?
She was cutting hair.
Oh, so she, okay.
We met on
well,
an airplane, and she was moving to LA.
She's a hairdresser.
Yeah.
Hairstylist.
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's actually an interesting one because, I mean, the career trajectory, like, if you've been cutting hair for a long enough period of time, like, is that something where, like, you know, there's not like much, what's it called? Like corporate growth, or
Right.
like you're not
climbing a ladder.
Yeah, so it's like your income at 30 years of age as a hairstylist probably doesn't differ that much from at 50 years of age.
Yeah.
Assuming you've continued working for
Right.
that entire duration of time.
Yep.
Obviously, you know, cost of living over the 20 years, inflation, but like maybe you increase your prices a little bit over
Right.
that period of time.
You can be a business owner, open multiple storefronts.
But it's like she could jump right, like that's not like
She could have jumped right back into work.
once you
Yeah.
get divorced, you
Right.
could jump right back into being a
Question.
hairstylist.
So like, I'm not sure how much the alimony is, but if you calculate what like an average money she would earn for the 4 years plus some kind of compensation for like taking care of the child and stuff, like does that amount
Compensation?
like funds money?
I mean, I took care of my kids too. I don't get compensated for it, right?
Okay, let's just like not even like the 4 years of working of what average you would think she would make. Is that more or less of what you paid for the alimony?
No, her settlement was way more than she would have ever earned in her life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I necessarily disagree with it, because I was poor when we met also. And so like that buildup was partially attributed to like our relationship, and me being able to focus on that while she is a good mom, like that was important to me. And I'm totally fine with that, actually. Yeah.
Sounds like you need a better divorce attorney.
No, you know, we didn't actually
have
hire
my
attorneys. We just did like the mediator.
Oh, okay.
We got one lawyer between us, and we agreed on most things. There were just like things like with the watch, the gift. I thought that was kind of not very, I don't like saying
That is
fair, but
weird.
it didn't seem very fair.
Well, it was not fair. Like,
Yeah.
But weren't you also the one who initiated the?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, I'm not trying to say like, if that is your preference and like you didn't see the relationship going,
Yeah.
that's cool. But also like, I feel like whoever is initiating the like divorce or breakup or whatever should kind of like be expecting that you might not get the best situation out of it, but you'll.
I don't hate that perspective
I
about
don't
it.
know.
Yeah.
What about the women that are initiating divorce?
Right. Yeah. Should they get any
So,
alimony?
yeah.
I mean, I honestly don't even know that much about alimony and stuff, but like to me, whoever
It's basically a lifestyle
right.
tax on the guy. It's like she lived a certain way, and he has to keep that up for her at some or for some number of years.
Right.
While also still taking care of your children.
Right.
Do you regret getting married?
No, not at all.
So, so then what? So what led, like, was it just a dysfunctional relationship and then afterwards you're like, this can't work anymore? Or,
Yeah,
like-
I mean, our kids were little, and when we were fighting a lot, and so it was like, I was
concerned about the
I was reliving some stuff like when I was a kid, thinking about the promises I made where I was like, I'm never gonna, do this to my kids or whatever. And then I saw that happening. And I'm like, all right, I think this is a good, like,
Yeah.
and look, to be honest, she's a great person. I would never say anything bad about her, but we are not compatible. And when you have a kid with somebody you've known for a month, it's like, how much do you know somebody after 1 month?
Yeah.
So.
I got a couple questions for you, and if any of these you're not comfortable answering, that's totally fine.
Rorigin donated $100. Fun fact, women instigate 70% of divorces.
Interesting in it.
In it.
Yeah, but when a woman gets divorced, like depending on what age she is, she's probably out of her prime. So to be able to marry back, it is possible, but men have a lot better opportunities for remarriage, and plus, like, what is considered prime for men is older than women, so they might have already lost their, like. I mean, you can remarry, but I feel like not that justifies it, but I feel like that.
I mean, if
provides
that were the
context.
case, why are women? I actually heard the numbers as high as 80% of divorces are initiated by women. But a couple questions for you. So 4 years of alimony, correct? I don't know if you're comfortable sharing the amount. If not, that's
I won't share the exact amount, but I mean, she became a millionaire from our divorce.
Whoa.
she was a hairdresser.
Yeah.
Have you seen Elon Musk's like divorce settlements? Like
No.
he married a woman
Ridiculous.
and then divorced her, and then he had to pay some large amount of money, and then he married her again, and then got divorced again. So I was just like, what?
Bro.
I mean, like twice.
I think honestly, if conservatives want to see more people get married, you gotta fucking rework these fucking bullshit laws.
You want to make it easier for them to get divorced. Basically, it's what you're asking conservatives to do.
No, actually, if there was less of a financial incentive for women to get divorced, perhaps they'd be less likely to do it.
So you're going from like the male perspective. You want to make it easier for men to want to get married and less convenient for a woman to want to get married. Because you're basically saying
It's less convenient for a woman to marry the man she loves because she stands to get less in a divorce? Is that your argument?
No, because why would a woman feel comfortable to become a stay-at-home mom if she knows she's going to be left in the dust if something happens?
How about this? I'll grant you that in certain scenarios where if she genuinely like gives up her career to get married, then there's certainly a case, and to raise children, and she would have otherwise elevated in the corporate world or whatever, and she would have been earning this much, but she didn't. I think there should be some calculus, some sort of mathematical analysis on the basis of what she would have earned, because it's crazy in his situation where you take a hairdresser and he's made her a millionaire.
Well, but
That's ridiculous.
You can't know if she because didn't you say you started
She
off?
would've-
You both started off with not. I think you said that, right?
Yeah, I was very poor.
Right.
when
So
we met.
she started off maybe not the same, but like in similar circumstances, and who knows if she might not be likely, but she could have eventually become something big too. Got to empower women. Just because we're women, we can't do big things.
Nickelodeon donated $100.
Oh, this is a good
Guess
one.
how many
Nick,
of the
can you-
top 10
can you
women
pull up the
billionaires
list,
are self-made?
Nick, or Google this?
Most are from divorce or inherited. Men value love. Women love value.
Interesting. That's good. Nickelodeon. That's a good one. Okay, wait. So I actually going back to one of my earlier conversations with I was asking. So, what do men get from marriage that they can't get from a long-term monogamous committed relationship? And I think you said, well, the stability of the relationship.
Correct.
and I was making the point before TTS came in that, well, is it more stable for the relationship? Because I would argue that it could actually be more stable for the relationship to not give women this big incentive to get divorced, which is a financial incentive. So the incentive for her to stay in the divorce, mind you, 80% of divorces are initiated by women, would be to continue receiving the provider benefits of her husband.
To be clear, I don't think that women should take advantage of a divorce and like intentionally steal amount of money. But I do think that those.
Do you think his situation was fair?
I don't
You'd
know
have to
enough.
review
Yeah,
the case.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, you don't think, well, that may be all well and good, but let's say there's a perfectly innocent and well-intentioned and perhaps naive woman. Divorce is a rather complicated legal process, isn't it?
Sorry.
Is divorce a complicated
Yeah,
legal
yeah, of
process?
course.
Do you need an attorney for that?
Usually, yes.
Okay, now let's assume she's even a Christian woman, a devout Christian woman, but let's assume her attorney isn't. What's the purpose of an attorney? To make money, right? Like as a career path.
Basically. Yeah.
They're desirous of making money. Now, a question for you. I don't know if it's like billed hourly. Is there ever a scenario where like the more money, like the attorney can get some of the money?
Yeah, so they generally will work on either contingency, where they take a third of everything, or they bill you hourly against a retainer.
But so in divorce proceedings, they can work on contingency.
So if I had my own attorney and she had her own, which that's not the path we went down.
Right. Okay.
Then her attorney would have taken a third of her settlement.
So the attorney has a financial incentive to siphon as much money from you as possible.
Yeah.
And additionally, if you did have an attorney, you would have had to pay for her attorney and your own attorney, correct?
Yeah, because all the funds.
And then
came
their
from me.
billable hours, the more hours they work, they can bill if they're being paid hourly. So then, even if the woman that you marry is a devout Christian woman, if she goes to an attorney whose job it is to siphon as much money as possible from the husband, and who perhaps is unscrupulous in their lawyering, well, you get fucked anyways, regardless of how pious or
Well, I'm not
devout
saying that's
your
a good
wife
thing.
is.
I'm not saying I support that system. It's unfortunate, but like I just think the underlying issue is that people are going into marriage thinking what can they get out of it, and a real loving marriage is about what can I give to this other person. And I think that's why, I mean, our culture is so self-focused. That's like it's honestly sad. Like I asked someone like, what is your purpose? They're like, I don't know, I guess just pleasure. And so we're seeing like this in marriages, people are getting divorced because it's all about them, and it's not about, and I'm not saying you should stay with someone that's abusive, but I do think that this self-focused culture is contributing to higher divorce rate, or just people not even getting married at all, because it's all about what they can get out of life and what they can get out of the other person, instead of what unconditional love can they show to them. And so
There's no such thing as unconditional love.
Just gonna say that.
There's no such thing.
from God there is, but
I was about to say God. Don't forget about God.
Okay.
Jesus died for the people that killed him. So
On the earthly plane.
Yeah, and then he sent them straight to hell. So I don't know how much I want to be loved by that.
he offered them eternal life.